So everybody on Facebook, I'm just getting the Facebook feed underway. All right, so welcome to everybody on Facebook who's going to be riding with us today. You guys can see the countdown timer. We're going to be starting in just a moment's time here. So you guys can get everything calibrated and set up to join us for the workout. All right, and all you guys that are riding via the app or riding on Zwift, just get ready to start pedaling in just a moment here so that everybody starts at the same time. So we're going to be starting in 10 seconds. And our workout begins just with a 2-minute step at 45%, just nice and easy, just to get things underway. Okay, so here we go, guys. So we are underway. So Samtastic, it looks like you're not connected. So maybe just try to reconnect your trainer, and then once that connection is made, we'll see all your stats. So Gail, just to come back to the Uncle Nick ride that you did, I believe that was in Sutton, and you were one of the only ones that were able to keep up to Uncle Nick all the way. Am I correct? And you guys finished by going up Mo Sutton at the end. You know, he probably swore because you were going faster than him and he was struggling to keep up. Oh, you don't remember that part? Well, yeah, that was definitely a good ride. I was stuck way at the back helping out some riders on some of those steep hills, but I heard from Uncle Nick how you were up front riding hard the whole way. I think only you and Linda were able to keep up to him all the way, so that was quite the ride. So well done, guys. So fantastic. Hopefully you're getting your trainer reset back up here. And once you... Yes, I don't see any stats for you, so I don't know if maybe is your trainer possibly connected to your phone right now or to another source? Okay, guys, so now let's go to between 90 and 100 per, 55%, but between 90 and 100 RPM. Okay, so we're just going to be working some higher RPMs for a bit and then some lower RPMs for a bit, alternating 90 to 110 RPM like we're doing now, and then 70 to 90 RPM that we're going to be doing in just a moment. And fantastic. Hopefully you could figure out how to get your trainer connected. You might even have to, potentially refresh the page and try again. But when you jump back in, you'll be put into the right spot of the workout. Okay, so here we are, 90 to 110 on the RPM, 55%. So just the rest of the warm-up. We have two parts to the warm-up today. We have our general warm-up, which we're doing right now. So on our general warm-up, we're just going to slowly build those watts up to 95%, alternating 2 minutes at a higher cadence, 2 minutes at a lower cadence. And every 2 minutes, we're going to bring the power up by 10%. And then we have a short break, and then we're going to do our specific warm-up to get you guys ready for the specific demands of today's workout. We're going to be doing a series of 4 pace increases to 120%. We're going to be doing some of them at lower cadence and some of them at higher cadence. So the 120% efforts are going to be 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, and 40 seconds. So this is just meant as a stimulus to prepare your body so that when we begin the first exercise, it actually feels a little bit easier because we have warmed up at 120%, and our first exercise we're actually going to be starting at 105%. So the 105% will feel a little bit easier after having prepared your body to go up to 120%. So those are the two elements to our warm-up today. And throughout, we're going to be alternating a higher and lower cadence because, all right, guys, so let's go to 65% watts, 70 to 90 on the RPM. So lower RPM now, so a couple gears harder, and work more strength-based pedaling. Then in our first drill of the day, guys, we're going to be alternating riding at 105% and riding 75%. So the 105% segments are 1 minute and 20 seconds, and the 75% segments are 40 seconds. So it's like 1 minute 20 seconds of effort and then 40 seconds of active recovery. When we're working at 105%, some of the reps you guys are going to do at a higher cadence, and some of the reps you guys are going to do at a lower cadence in the exact same way that we're practicing it in the warm-up. And that's why we have the cadence element in the warm-up. And this will be an opportunity for you to explore the difference in feeling of effort at 105%, at higher cadence, and at lower cadence. And if any of you guys want to stand up at the lower cadence segments, you can. The target RPM is between 70 and 90. So if you're comfortable standing up at like 75 RPM, then absolutely you can get up out of the saddle for that piece. All right, and let's just take a quick look at the purpose of today's workout and why it's structured the way it is. So our workout today, we're going to be developing your body's ability to clear the buildup of lactate or clear the buildup of lactic acid. So when you guys do an effort at 100%, 105%, even if your legs don't start burning, as a byproduct of the muscle contractions that are going on, your body accumulates lactate. And the amazing thing about your body is your body's not wasteful. It's actually going to utilize the lactate that you accumulate as energy if given the opportunity to do so. All right, guys, so let's make the switch now. So 75%, 90 to 110 on the RPM. Your body's slow twitch muscle fibers actually preferentially use lactate as an energy source if it's available. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going to the powers like 100%, 105%, 110%, so that your body produces an excess of buildup of lactate. And then we're going to be going down to lower powers like 90%, 80%, 75%, so that your body learns to recycle and reuse that buildup of lactate for energy at the lower powers. So I mentioned that because today the lower power outputs become just as important as the higher power outputs, because the training effect that we're looking for actually occurs at the lower power output. The higher power output is producing the excess of lactate, and the lower power output, practice holding your power super steady, really focusing on that power output. That's where your body has the opportunity to learn to recycle that buildup of lactate and reuse it for energy. And anybody that's interested in longer duration riding, teaching your body to use up lactate as a source of fuel is essential. And if you expose yourself to the types of training like we're doing today, and that we actually do a lot in Power Watts, think of all the over-under drills that we do, your body becomes better at recycling it, and it becomes a source of energy instead of a source of fatigue. So that's why we're doing what we're doing today, guys. So we'll see how you feel throughout the workout. And just keep in mind, even if your legs aren't burning or anything, your body's always producing a buildup of lactate as you guys are putting out those power outputs. So it's going to get the intended training effect of the day at the lower powers. All right, so next up, we're going to go to 85% and 70 to 90 on the RPM. So we're going to go slightly lower on the RPM. And Sting just joined us. How you doing today, Sting? Oh yeah, I guess there's a lot going on at your house at this time. All good. Well, I'm so glad that you're able to join us for today's workout, Sting. All right, guys, so we are at 85%, 70 to 90 on the RPM, so work that slightly lower RPM pedaling. So challenge yourselves to play around with body position a bit, especially when you alternate between the higher power and the lower power, the higher cadence and the lower cadence. And that'll give you guys an opportunity to explore different pedaling techniques that you can utilize a little bit later in the workout. So, Mean Gene, you recently made a bike position adjustment. How is it feeling at the moment? Great. Do you feel a big difference or it feels similar? but you're not sure if it's better or worse yet? Well, let's just wait and see. I mean, you definitely made, based on the message that you sent me, you made a big change to the position, which we'll see if it ends up being positive or negative, but you'll definitely probably know by the end of the workout. Some things to take note of to know if the position is good or not is if all of a sudden today you find yourself struggling at the higher cadences where you normally don't struggle at the higher cadences, it might mean your saddle is a little bit too high. And if you feel like you're just lacking in power in general, or you feel like you can't get your weight into the pedals, all right, guys, so let's go to 95%, 90 to 110 on the RPM. Or if you feel like you can't get your weight and your strength into the pedals, or you just feel a general weakness at the higher powers, it might mean your saddle is a little bit too far backwards. So just keep those ideas in mind while you're riding, and then we might end up tweaking it a little bit more afterwards. My pleasure, Mean Gene. I'm glad you're playing around with the bike position because I think it'll make a big difference long term, especially to take some pressure off of your quads. All right, guys, so we're in the final 2 minutes of the warm-up, of the general warm-up, I should say. After this, we have a specific warm-up still. So the goal is 95% and 90 to 110 on the RPM. So slightly faster pedaling here before we have our 2-minute recovery period. After the 2-minute recovery period, then we're going to jump into the specific warm-up. So good work on the power outputs, good work on the cadences, guys, thus far. Experiment with different body positions again now that we're at the higher cadence. Practice soliciting different muscle groups by positioning yourself slightly differently on the saddle as you go. So we got 40 more seconds, then we'll take a 2-minute little recovery before we go into our specific warm-up. So good riding, guys. And the professor, how are you doing today, Professor? I'm glad you're here for another Power Watts workout. You get to ride beside Miss Piggy again. What a pleasure that must be. All right, guys. So 10 more seconds in our general warm-up, and then we're going to take a 2-minute recovery period, and then we'll go over a little bit more in detail our specific warm-up. So 3, 2, 1, and let's back it off, guys. So 2 minutes of recovery. So you could back it off, lower the power a little bit, stop pedaling for a moment if you need to. Great. And then this 2-minute recovery period is going to be followed by our specific warm-up. So our specific warm-up, I mentioned it right at the beginning. I'll just remind you guys again. It's 4 times surges to 120%. And the duration of those surges are 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, and 40 seconds. So you can think of these pushes to 120% as a way that we're trying to prime your bodies. We're trying to prime the muscles for our first drill where the highest power is going to be 105%. So by including these short bursts to 120% as part of the warm-up, it will make that first exercise feel a little bit easier because after the 4 surges, we have a 3-minute recovery period. In addition to the 120% target, we're going to alternate 1 rep at a low cadence and 1 rep at a high cadence so you can get a feel for the different cadences at a higher power. Our warm-up, we practice cadence quite a bit, but all the powers are below 100%, so let's see how it goes at above 120%. So the first one that we're going to be starting in about 35 seconds is 120% and 70 to 90 on the RPM. And those of you guys that like standing up, Sting, Miss Piggy, Professor, Gail, I know you like standing up a bit. If you guys want to stand up, absolutely just try to keep those RPMs over 70 to stay in that 70 to 90 RPM range. Okay, so we're going in 10 seconds. Yeah, it's fantastic. I could see all your stats. I can't see you, but I could see your stats. So get ready, guys. We're going in 3, 2, 1, and up to 120%. Oh, there we go. Now I can see you. It's fantastic. Good, great stuff, guys. Good work on the cadence. So this is the slightly lower cadence one. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. And let's ease it down, guys. So let's back it off. All right, so 45 seconds recovery. So some of you guys might have noticed so the timer that you guys see above me is a little bit different than the timer that you guys see on the screen, perhaps. So use the timer that you guys see on the screen here. Okay, that you see on your screen, not the one that you see on my screen. So next up, we're going to be doing 120% for 30 seconds, 90 to 110 on the RPM. So go a gear or two easier, guys, so you start this right away at that higher cadence, and you'll have to stay sitting all the way for this one. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, and bring up that power and bring up the cadence. So 90 to 110. Good, well done, guys. And the key thing here is to try to solicit the muscles a little bit differently by changing the body position. Mean Gene, really think about how it feels at this higher cadence. If you're having trouble with the higher cadence, saddle might be a smidge too high. Sting, great work on the power and cadence. Samtastic, Mean Gene, Gail, all you guys got it. So well done, guys. Okay, so ease it off. So 55-second recovery now. And so we have 2 more of these. So the next one's 35 seconds at low cadence. And then we're going to do 40 seconds at a slightly higher cadence. And just in general, in terms of this specific warm-up, if you guys ever, prepare for a cycling event or a running event or something like that, or if you're going to do your own time trial or challenge yourself for your fastest time up Camillien Hood or something along those lines, after you do a general warm-up, it's a good idea to do a specific warm-up like this, 15 to 45 second efforts at a bit above your power target that you're going to be going for to prepare your legs for what's coming. So in this case, we're doing 120 to get ready for 105. Okay, so here we go, guys. Up to 120%, slightly lower on the cadence, prime in the pump, prime in the body as part of these surges. When you do surges like this as part of a warm-up, you want to practice doing them nice and smooth and steady and with as much ease as you can. Sometimes I suggest that you guys do the surges with a really big kick right off the top, and that's a great way to do it in the middle of the workout. But during a warm-up phase like this, you want to think about smoothness and making it feel as easy as you can, just floating through these efforts. All right, guys, and let's back it off. Fantastic. Okay, so we got 1 minute and 5 seconds of recovery before our last piece of our specific warm-up. So this one, we're back to the slightly higher cadence. So it's 40 seconds, so a little bit longer. And then you have a 3-minute recovery period. If we were doing a time trial today, or if you guys experiment with putting this kind of warm-up into your running events or your outdoor cycling events, you would take longer than a 3-minute rest period after a warm-up like this. You'd usually take a 5 to 8 minute rest period after this before you'd start your attack on the mountain or your 5K race or whatever effort that you're training for. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Today we're only taking a 3-minute recovery period, but if you wanted to get a maximal performance after a warm-up like this, a 5 to 8 minute recovery period would be what you're looking for. All right, guys, so last one, 40 seconds at 120%. 90 to 110 on the RPM. So let's bring it up. Okay, and off we go. And work those gears, guys, to get 90 to 110 on the RPM. Good, so way to be Samtastic. So I do see your power and your cadence, Samtastic, so that update definitely did the job. Sting, I see your power and cadence as well. Perhaps you did an update on yours. Yeah, great. Good, way to be Gail, great cadence. Nice work, Mean Gene. Got the power, got the cadence. And keep it up, Miss Piggy and Professor. Great leg speed, guys. So 3, 2, 1, and let's ease it off. So now we got a 3-minute recovery period. So nice work, guys. So Sting, just out of curiosity, did you update your firmware? You did it yourself. That's amazing, Sting. Well, I guess the kids, their technological awareness is brushing off onto you. That's fantastic. Well, I'm so glad you did the update. You and Samtastic both did the same update, and it really got your cadences working again. So I'm glad to know that that's where the issue was. So well done, guys. So Sting, how did you find that specific warm up? Some little accelerations before longer efforts. Great. Miss Piggy, how did you find the warm up, the 120%? Oh, really? Because you were standing up. Okay. Well, there are some lower cadence segments coming up that you get to use. We do have some higher cadence ones though, but they won't be at 120%. So you'll be able to contrast, and maybe the issue is just the higher cadence at the higher power. So we'll find out that shortly. And Mean Gene, how do you find that warm up? And you're okay at the higher cadences? Doesn't feel unusual? A little bit unusual. Okay, just different. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind, and I'm going to continue asking you throughout the session, just so we can really make sure we get that dialed in for you. And Gail, how do you find that warm up? Great. And did you find the higher cadence a bit easier, the lower cadence, or about the same? Higher cadence was easier? Okay, to get your full force into the pedals. Well, keep practicing it, Gail, and over time it'll become more natural, just like that higher cadence. All right, guys, so we have our first drill that's about to start. I'll tell you a bit more about it when we're in the middle of it. Just so you know, we're starting off at 105% low cadence, just for you, Gail. 70 to 90 on the RPM. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, 105%. Okay, so somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 90 on the RPM, so slightly lower. Now, I mentioned during the warm-up, and I'll remind you guys again here, during this type of exercise, the low powers are just as important as the high powers. We're using the high powers to accumulate lactate in your working muscles that then your body is going to learn how to clear and recycle for energy at the lower powers. So I want everyone to make sure that they work hard, get to their 105% efforts, and then during the 40-second efforts, very gradually bring it down to 75%, and try to never go below 75. So you might settle in at 75 or 78 or 79, something like that, but slowly bring it down. Don't suddenly stop and then bring it back up to 75. It's that process of slowly bringing the power down and then holding it at 75% that's going to maximize our intended training effect for this particular drill. Okay, so we got a little bit more time at 105%, and then everyone's going to practice that slow and gradual decrease to 75% or maybe a touch more. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, and let's ease it down. So we have 4 reps like this. And so that's a total of 8 minutes. And when you average this out, the average power for the 8 minutes is going to be 100%. So it's not an easy drill by any means, especially when we add cadence elements to it. Like the next minute and 20 seconds, we're going to be at 105% again, this time at 90 to 110 RPM. So we'll see if you guys find it a little bit easier, a little bit harder at the higher cadence here. Everyone's doing a great job at 75%. This is where the training effect occurs. And now let's give it a little push. So bring it up to 105%. Going above that threshold power. Accumulating some waste products in the muscles that then you're going to learn how to recycle. So here now slightly higher on the cadence. So the 90 to 110 range. Good work, guys. Great leg speed, Miss Piggy. Way to be. Keep that up, Professor. So Sting nice and smooth. Well done, Samtastic. Good work. Yeah, there you go, Mean Gene. Try that for a bit. Cadence is looking good. And Gail, well done. Great average RPM, Gail. Over 100 on the RPM average. That's great. Okay, so let's keep this real smooth. And then, just like before, when we go from the 105 to the 75, you want it to be a very smooth process of bringing the power down. A little trick that might help you guys, especially if you're around 100 RPM or a little more, is as you bring the power down, go 1 or 2 gears harder. That pressure underneath your feet will give you better control as you ease the power down. And then once you bring your power down, then you might choose to go 1 or 2 gears easier after. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Maybe go a gear or 2 harder as you ease the watts down to 75%. And once you're at 75%, look at your cadence and possibly go 1 or 2 gears easier once you're back in control. That's a great tactic that you guys can also use on the road if you're riding with a friend. After you do a pull in the front and you're backing off to get on your friend's wheel, sometimes it's easier if you're in a slightly harder gear, so that way you can accelerate back onto the person's wheel, and then once you're on the wheel, then you go a gear or 2 easier to spin your legs. That could be a very helpful tactic. All right, guys, so back up to 105% for 40 seconds. So let's bring those watts up and now lower on the cadence. Okay, 70 to 90 on the cadence this time. So you definitely have the option of standing if you guys want. If you're going to stand, do your best to keep it over 70 on the RPM. And you can stand for a bit, sit for a bit if you'd like. Okay, and now we're going to transition to high cadence. So we're going to hold the 105%. And now in a few seconds, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going 90 to 110 on the RPM. So I didn't warn you guys of that ahead of time. But on this particular one, the cadence switches halfway. And on the last one, the cadence switches halfway as well. So keep your power the same, guys. The same 105%. And now we're at the higher RPM. And then we have our 40-second active recovery at 75%. Good. So way to be, Miss Piggy and Professor. Great riding. Sting, very nice. Well done, Samtastic. Nice cadence, Samtastic. Yeah, great work on the power output as well. And Mean Gene and Gail looking good, guys. Okay, so let's ease it down to 75% for 40 seconds. Try not to go below the 75%, guys. Keep that foot pressure super smooth. If anything, try to go a little bit higher than 75%. Like 75 to 80% at all times to promote the recycling and the clearance of lactate. So now we got one more block at 105%. So we're going to start at the high cadence, 90 to 110, finish at the low cadence, 70 to 90, and then after that we do another low power block. Okay, so let's go to 105, guys, percent, 90 to 110 on the RPM. So right now we're at high cadence, then we're going to go to low cadence at 105%, and then after that we have 40 seconds at 75 to 80%. Remember, that's super important to what we're trying to do today. So when we're done this last block at 105%, go down to the 75%, super smooth, and hold it as steady as you can for the 40 seconds to promote the adaptations we're looking for here. So everyone, get ready to transition to a lower cadence. Same power, lower cadence. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. All right, so we're at the low cadence, guys. 105%. Good. We got some standing going on. If you're standing, keep it over 70 on the RPM. The slightly higher standing RPM, sometimes it's helpful to focus on your knee drive up and down, or the upward phase of the pedal stroke versus the push down. That often allows you to move your legs a bit faster when you're standing. Okay, now everybody really focus here. We want to very slowly bring it down to 75% when it's time. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. Okay, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Then very slowly bring it down to 75. Try never go below 75 for the 40 seconds, and then we have a 3-minute recovery period. And we're getting a great training adaptation here, guys, so keep on that focus. And amazingly, when we're done this, everyone will have averaged 100% watts for 8 minutes. So definitely a quick and tough start to the warm-up, to the workout, I mean. And that's one of the reasons why we added that specific warm-up into this exercise. So we're almost there. Then we got a 3-minute rest period. So let's keep it up, guys. Nice and smooth at the 75%. All right. And back it off. And Sting, you have a question? From both you guys, I am actually seeing your diamond all over the place on my screen as well. So do you guys see your power nice and steady though, and it's just the diamond that's going all over the place? Okay. Flicking back and forth. Okay, so because we made a few adjustments to the way it works, and maybe one thing that might be going on is the average is just resetting occasionally when it's not supposed to. So, and that would cause the diamond to jump back and forth. So maybe just keep your focus on the current watts, and then we'll try to get that resolved before our next session. So thanks for pointing that out, guys. All right, great. So first drill done. Now, I'll just quickly mention we're going to be doing a very similar drill again at the end, where you have 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's going to be at 105% average, with 40 seconds at 75% in between. So that one, though, at the end, instead of riding super steady for the minute 20 seconds, we're going to be changing the power output every 20 seconds. So you're going to do 20 seconds higher power, 20 seconds lower, 20 seconds higher, 20 seconds lower, something like that. But the average is going to come out to 105%. So when we get there, that's just going to increase the demands a little bit on your body, on your metabolism, on your ability to change pace. But ultimately, it's going to give the same training effect. But before we do that, we have a slightly different exercise now. So now we're going to be doing another 8-minute drill, where we're going to be riding first minute at 80%, really comfortable, high cadence, 90 to 110 RPM. Then we're going to do 1 minute at 90%, 1 minute at 100%, then 2 minutes at 110%, and then we go back down to 100, 90, and then 80 at the end. So here we have the first 6-7 minutes that's going to be really accumulating that buildup of lactate in the muscles, and then the last 2 minutes is when your body has that ability to learn how to clear it and recycle it for energy when we bring the power back down a bit. So that's it's going to be an interesting drill. Definitely the hardest part of this drill is going to be through the middle when you guys are riding that 110%. Once we get back down to 90 and 80%, it'll become a little bit more comfortable. Okay, so get ready to start us off, guys. So let's go to 80%. Okay, 90 to 110 on the RPM. So slightly higher RPM. There are only RPM targets on the first minute and the last minute, because we want you guys spinning your legs at the beginning and at the end of this drill. What you guys do through the middle, it's totally up to you. Based on your strength as riders, some of you guys might have to do some standing during that middle portion at 110%. Some of you guys might choose to stay sitting, of course, but maybe go into the harder gears, or maybe spin the legs at a faster rate in order to sustain that power output. So it's up to you guys to find what works best for you as we get through the middle sections of this drill. Okay, so in 10 seconds about, we're going to be going up to 90%. No more cadence target. So you guys choose what is the best strategy for you. So let's make that adjustment up to 90%. And the best strategy might be a variable cadence strategy, breaking those minutes up into 30-second chunks, or trying to keep the cadence high for as long as you can, knowing that you'll probably go to a lower cadence when things get a little bit difficult through the middle of this drill. Okay, so this first part of the drill, definitely a great fitness builder as we slowly build up to that 110%. And then the second half, the last part of the drill, that's where we're getting the intended training effect. So since the beginning part here, as we're ramping it up, I'd encourage you guys to find ways to make it feel as comfortable as possible. Could be something as simple as a small body positional adjustment. Could be something of just changing your mindset towards the exercise. Just thinking slightly different things, focusing only on the minute that you're on, focusing on the pedal stroke you're on instead of worrying about what's coming next. Okay, so let's go to 100% now. And then we're going to do 2 minutes at 110. So just so everyone's ready, when we go up to the next level, it's for 2 minutes. And that's definitely going to be a challenging effort. Okay, so good riding, guys. So well done, Professor. Miss Piggy, that's looking good. Great position, Miss Piggy. Way to be staying sitting. Well done, Sting and Samtastic. That's looking good. Mean Gene, way to work the cadence here. Fantastic. And Gail, really great work on the power. Bang on the power. So get ready, Samtastic, when we go up to 110%. Maybe you have to stand for a bit or maybe switch back to a slightly higher cadence to mix things up. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, and now 2 minutes at 110%. All right, so nice and smooth at 110%. That's going to be a really difficult effort. Oftentimes, through the middle of drills, some of you guys might remember a couple weeks back, Paulo talked about going through the minefield during a 2-minute exercise where it's most difficult from about 30 seconds to 90 seconds, and then it usually gets a little bit easier near the end. Here we have a similar premise. It's going to be most difficult on what you guys are doing now because the power is higher and because it's right through that middle portion of the drill. So it's a tremendous opportunity to work on your mindset, staying relaxed through the difficulty, and exploring all your different pedaling skills and body position skills to produce that power output despite the accumulation of fatigue. So way to be, guys. Let's keep it up. Nice work, Gail. Keep working it, Gail. Way to be, Mean Gene. Still working with that higher cadence. That's great. Samtastic out of the saddle. Keep building up those watts, Samtastic. Sting, great work on the power and on the cadence. And still sitting, Sting. Great practice. Keep it up, Professor and Miss Piggy. Now, super important. Okay, so we got 30 seconds left on this 2 minutes. When we go down to 100%, super important that nobody totally unloads the feet. You got to keep pushing onto the pedals and just slightly bring that power down. 100% is going to probably be just as demanding as what you're doing now. But you can look forward towards the 90% when things are probably going to start to get a little bit easier. So keep it up, Gail. Keep it up. So a couple more seconds before we go down to 100%. But keep working hard, guys. The effort level is going to stay very high here. The effort level is going to stay high. So hold that 100%. Way to be, guys. Try to avoid any big dips here. Keep building it back up, Gail. Way to be. Good work, Mean Gene. Nice cadence change here to hold that power. Samtastic, well done. Great work, Samtastic. You're working hard, but great power. Well done, Miss Piggy and Professor. And Sting doing a great job, making it look easy, Sting. So, we're about to get to the key phase of this particular drill. Luckily, the key phase is when it does get a little bit easier. If anyone's having a bit of trouble right now, we're going to be going down to 90%. Slowly ease it down to 90%. Do not unload your feet. Okay, so slowly ease it down to 90%. And now we're starting to get that intended training effect I was telling you guys about earlier. Your body is going to be able to start clearing some of that buildup of lactate and other waste products in your legs, recycling it for energy at these slightly lower powers. So way to be, everyone, at the 90%. Well done. And the last minute is going to be at 80%. I'll just tell you guys in advance, we're back to a high cadence for that last minute. So 90 to 110. So whatever cadence you're at now, in the last minute, we're going to go to 90 to 110. But the power does go down to 80%. So hopefully that'll make the difficulty feel a little bit easier at this point. So keep it up, Samtastic. So Samtastic, get ready to go a couple gears easier to spin the legs. So Mean Gene, Gail, Sting, you guys already got the cadence, so just keep it up. And Miss Piggy and Professor, that's looking good. Maybe one gear easier, Professor. All right, guys. So 80%, super smooth as you can. Try not to go below that 80. And if you feel okay at the 80, you can continue holding 90 if you want. What counts here is that we're a little bit below 100%, but doing it steady after the big effort that everyone just put in. So way to be, guys. We're almost done this exercise. Keep working that cadence. Practice staying relaxed here after coming through that really difficult segment. Sometimes you might stay tight. So loosen the face, neck, shoulders, elbows to the last 15 seconds. Feels like the best 15 seconds of this drill. So we're almost there, guys. All right, and let's ease it down. 3 minutes of recovery. Well done, guys. Wow. Another big effort everyone put up there. Super job. Mean Gene, what did you think of that one? When did it start to get a little bit easier for you? At 80%, 90%? Okay, after you came off the 110, it started to get a little bit easier for you? I like how you tell your brain what to think. That's great. That's a great strategy. Way to be, Mean Gene. Gail, how'd you find that drill? Okay, so when you're just a bit above that 100, that's when you really run into trouble. I couldn't quite tell if you were sitting or if you were standing. Sitting. So your cadence your cadence was quite low for sitting. So maybe try, low 80s instead of low 70s or high 60s and reserve the high 60s, low 70s for standing and do most of your sitting, even a more strength-oriented sitting in the low 80s. That might be helpful for you. Yeah, you could just stay standing if you want, or try sitting at like 80, because sitting at 70 is like really difficult for a small person like you. Like if you're like heavier riders can pull it off, but someone who doesn't have a lot of body weight to put in the pedals, either you got to sit or you got to bring the cadence up a little bit. I mean, sorry, you either got to stand or sit and bring the cadence up a little bit. Great. Okay, guys, so now we're up to our last drill. So our last drill, very similar to the first drill. It's a minute 20 seconds that averages out to 105% and then 40 seconds at 75%. But this time, we're changing the power target every 20 seconds. So our first one, we're going to do 20 seconds at 115, then 20 seconds at 95, then 20 seconds at 105, and another 20 seconds at 105. So that's going to average out to 105%, but a lot more variable, so the demands on your metabolic system are a little bit higher. Okay, so everyone, let's go up to the 115%. So 115% watts. And every 20 seconds, things change. Now, they're not huge changes. We're looking 10 to 20% power changes. So I want you guys to try to do them smoothly. Okay, so now slowly go from 115 down to 95. Okay, great. And then when it's time to go up to 105, try not to overshoot to 105. Just smoothly transition from 95 to 105 over the course of, 5 to 10 pedal strokes. Okay, so let's make that smooth transition to 105. And we're going to be at 105 for a full 40 seconds. So it's two 20-second blocks back to back. No cadence targets throughout this entire drill. So you guys can play around with different strategies. A little bit of sit, a little bit of stand, a little bit of high cadence, a little bit of low cadence. So let's keep it up at 105. Now, after we're done the 105, it's not complete recovery. We're going to be practicing that active recovery that's crucial to the training adaptations we're looking for today. So really focus on slowly bringing it down to 75%. Okay, so slowly down to 75%, guys. Gradually bring it down. And whatever cadence you want here, but hold that 75. And then on our next one, we're back to a minute 20 seconds. This time the order is 20 seconds at 105, 20 seconds at 115, 20 seconds at 95, and 20 seconds at 105. Okay, so the order this time is going to be a little bit different. So good work on the active recovery powers, guys. Keep it up, Samtastic. Build it up just a smidge. And just like before, smooth transitions here. Okay, so let's bring it up to 105 without sudden accelerations, just a more gradual acceleration phase here. And it'll be the same thing when we go from 105 to 115, gradually and smoothly bring it up to 115. All right, so push it up to that 115. Okay, so short segment, only 20 seconds. Good way to be on the cadence and power, Gail. Keep that up. Mean Gene, well done. Sting, Professor, Miss Piggy, all out the saddle. Samtastic, excellent work. Keep it up, Samtastic. Now, super gradual, ease down to 95%. Okay, keep that foot pressure. Just change something, body position, change cadence. And then the final 20 seconds is going to be at 105%. Okay, and now smooth transition, 105%. Great way to be, guys. Well done, Sting. Great standing, Samtastic. Now just keep that foot pressure. Definitely a very challenging exercise. Now keep pedaling, guys, and slowly down to 75%. 75%. You're going to get a little sense of recovery. Maybe not right away. It might take 30 seconds to get that sense of recovery. Keep it up, Gail. Bit more foot pressure. Keep it up, Samtastic. Yeah, fantastic. Good. Teaching that body to recycle all the waste products here. So, Mean Gene, Sting, way to be. Keep it up, Miss Piggy and Professor. Okay, so now next one, we start at 95. We go 95, 105, 115, and then back to 105. All right, and here we go. 95%. And despite the accumulation of fatigue here, guys, I still want everyone to focus on smoothness during those transitions. Okay, so get some pressure down into the pedals to bring it up to 105. Excellent. As the body tires, sometimes the watts become a little bit more variable. And we're throwing a lot of variability at you, but we want you to be as smooth as you can into that variability. Okay, now up to 115. This is a tough one. Yeah, way to be, Samtastic. Up out of the saddle. Okay, so let's hold the 115, and then we go down to 105. Great work, guys. Good way to be, Gail. You got the power. See, low 80. There you go. Great work on the cadence as well. Okay, so now 105%. 105%. Still takes a big effort here. Try to make a little adjustment to change the muscle groups that are working. Could be subtle, could be bigger. Okay, so let's go down to 75%, guys. So hold the 75. We only have one more high power segment of a minute and 20 seconds. So keep it up, Gail and Samtastic. Little tricks that you could do if you're running into big trouble at the high powers is more subtle changes, like transferring the pressure from the inside of the foot to the outside of the foot can be helpful. Or, instead of pointing the toe, dropping the heel down, or instead of dropping the heel, pointing the toe. Smaller changes like that in your around your foot and around your ankle could be really helpful, give you just that much more extra power. Okay, so last block of minute 20 seconds. So let's go to 105%. Let's bring those watts up, guys. So this one, it goes 105, 95, 105, and then 115 for the final 20 seconds. And then it finishes with 40 seconds at 75%. All right, let's go to 95%. Okay, so ease it down a bit. Keep that foot pressure, smooth transitions. Little adjustments to the body position, to the cadence, to keep that power output where it needs to be. All right, so up 10% to 105. All right, so we're at 105, guys. And then the next 20 seconds, we're going to go to 115. If anyone's feeling good, absolutely go over 115%. But after that, we have 40 seconds at 75. So make sure you got the juice for that too. All right, so here we go, guys. 115%, maybe a little bit more. Hang in there, Samtastic. Hang in there. Good way to be, Gail. Really drive those pedals. Drive those pedals. And I want everyone just to stare at your screen. Stare at your power output. When we go down to 75, hold that 75 for the 40 seconds. Now hold that 75, guys. Hold that 75. Maybe a little bit higher than 75 if you want, but definitely less than 100% to get the training effect that we're looking for here. Really great pushes, guys, at that 115%. So let's keep it up for another few seconds here. Sting and Mean Gene, unbelievable efforts on that last 20 seconds. Both of you over 130%. Okay, now hold that 75. Everyone looking good here on the 75. Sometimes it feels funny to end a workout with a lower power segment. All right, so we got 3 minutes of recovery. So it might feel funny to finish the workout on a lower power segment like that. But again, that's just giving your body more opportunity to learn how to recycle and reuse energy that you've already used up. So well done, guys. So lots of variability on that one. Definitely puts extra stress on the muscles, extra stress on the metabolism to enhance the training effect of what we had done on the first exercise of the day. So way to be, guys. So Gail, Sam, Tash, guys, we're working really hard. Way to hang in there. Sting and Mean Gene, great finishes, guys. Really great power at the end. And Miss Piggy and Professor, how'd it go over there for you guys? I can't hear you, Miss Piggy, for some reason. So I'll come back to you in a sec, Miss Piggy. So Samtastic, how was that drill for you? Tough? All that variability. Sorry, what was that? Good. Way to be, Samtastic. All that variability is definitely a big challenge, especially with those high power outputs. Gail, how'd you find that last drill? The average power of those two drills is the same, actually. But perhaps it's the durations. Those variable durations may have been very helpful for you. Having to only deal with 20-second segments as opposed to 2-minute segments may have been the difference maker. And just in general, you managed your cadence very, very well throughout that drill. So way to be, Gail. That definitely made a big difference too. Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially 2 minutes at 110. I mean, that's that's pretty tough, especially when it comes right in the middle of an exercise without recovery right before or right after. So great. Way to be today, Gail. So Mean Gene, how did you find that final exercise? Oh yeah, okay. So the fatigue caught up to you on this final exercise. You did a great job though, Mean Gene, and you were going over some of the power targets too. So it was hard, but you were producing the watts. So way to be. How do you feel in terms of your bike position? Yeah. Okay, great. And just bring it down a smidgen when you bring it back, just to be safe. Uh, well done, Mean Gene. All right, guys. So thanks so much to everybody on Facebook for joining us. Another great workout today. So just the quick recap: the structure of the workout was such that we were trying to accumulate a buildup of lactate and other waste products in your muscles, and then providing active recovery segments at powers like 75, 80, and 90% to give your body the chance to learn to recycle and reuse that lactate as new energy. That's a critical skill for any endurance athlete, and this is how you go about it, by going to higher powers and lower powers. We do that a lot in the Power Watts program, but this one we really tried to dial in just on that particular training effect. So for your own training at home or your own training outdoors, doing exercises like 40 seconds fast, 20 seconds active recovery, things like that is a great way to develop this ability to recycle energy in this way. So thanks so much everyone for Facebook for joining in, and we will be back on Saturday at 9 a.m. for the next Power Watts at home workout. So I look forward to seeing you guys then.